Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Matt DeWitt, MWD Adventures. Today's video, we're going to talk about upgrading our hiker trailer fenders. So in this video, we're going to talk about the fenders on our mid-range. The fenders on our mid-range are a diamond plate material. They have a flat top on them, which we love. One of the things that we were discouraged on when we received our mid-range 3 years ago now is that we couldn't step on the fenders to get up top and to put our bikes up there. We like to put the bikes on top of the roof. So we always had to carry a small step ladder. In this situation, Hiker listened to their customers, took some input and replaced some of the bolts in this latest generation of trailer with a bolt through design so that it supports the weight and you can climb up on the fender to get on top of the roof. So they have an upgrade kit for those of you who have an older hiker and would like to upgrade your fenders. So we're going to upgrade these fenders to load bearing. They can support between 250 and 300 pounds is what Hiker's saying. You're basically taking out the bolts, some of the existing bolts that screw in for a decorative fender, and you're going to bolt them through the wall of the trailer to allow them to support the weight. Hiker Trailer generously provided the kit to us so we can make a video and show you guys how it works. So for this installation, here's the kit itself. These are actually considered elevator bolts, they call them, but these will bolt through. It's got a flat top. You've got 8 of those, 8 lock washers, and 8 nuts. That's the kit itself. Then here we have some clear silicone. We're going to use that, making sure we seal up all our holes. We got a 11 millimeter socket we're going to put on a drill. We got a 1/4 inch drill bit. We're drilling through the holes, the bolts. We got some red thread locker, which was suggested for locking things in place. I've got my breaker bar used for taking the wheel off, the lug nuts. I got my torque wrench, 90 pounds, re-torque the lugs after you got everything back in place. First thing I'm gonna do, I do it the old fashioned way. Maybe you have a power tool around to do this, but I'm gonna break the lugs free from their torque spec. Their torque spec is 90 pounds. I'm gonna break those free first while it's on the ground and has weight on the trailer. This is before I jack it up. Just breaking each one loose. I can use the weight of the trailer to loosen them up. There. Now with that done, I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna put my jack down. I can support the weight of the trailer and be able to change that tire, take the tire off. Wheels off the ground. Now I can commence taking off my lug nuts. And if you got a torque gun, it's even better. Make sure when you use your 13/16, use a thin wall socket. That's the thickness here. Make sure this isn't a thick impact style. All right, got our lug nuts off. And we got our wheel off. So these bottom ones are hex and they're screwed into the bottom. We're not going to touch those. The next one up on the opposite side of the fender is a Phillips in our case. We're going to remove those. And then the next one up on the top, right where the fender starts to make a curve, that's definitely a spot we want to remove too. So these two here and these two on the opposite side. The two in the middle where it attaches to the trailer, we are not going to touch. So let's get those removed first. So I'm just going to take my drill with a Phillips head and we're going to zip those out. They're very short because they were just decorative, not very long. So far this has been a pretty easy project and it hasn't taken us more than a couple minutes to get to this point. We're going to remove our Phillips and we're going to put in a 1/4 inch drill bit. Now we're going to drill our holes through the fender to make holes for the new bolts. So at this point, these elevator bolts have a little square portion here. We want to make sure that goes inside the hole. So on the base of the bolt, this is optional, but I'm going to take just a little bit of silicone right here at the base and put this around just to weatherproof it a little bit. It sits flush, so we're going to line it up with a hole, and we're going to give it a little tap to make it flush to the wood. So we got 4 bolts left. I'm going to put those off to the side. We've got a lock washer and a nut. We're just going to attach those to the outside. We got some thread locker red. We're going to put that on the threads. The way you apply that is just tip it and kind of roll it in your hands and apply it generously on the end where it connects. So let's get those on. So now we're going to take our thread locker, Loctite thread locker red. We're going to put a little bit of this, just a few drops on here. And you could put a dab of silicone on there if you wanted. Not too worried about it. This is where you might need a partner to go on the inside. You get these started. I'm going to take my drill and I'm going to ratchet it in. Wendy, I'm going to do the bottom towards the back of the trailer. Got it? Yep. Okay, so she's putting slight pressure on it just to make sure it doesn't back itself out, and I'm going to screw it down. We good? Yep. Okay, next one, top. Ready? Yep, go. Good. Okay. You should have about a 1/4 inch sticking out of the thread once you've tightened them down. That tells you you've got them tightened down firmly enough and that your lock washer is completely flattened out. So we are good. So now that we're completed with that, the last thing to do is put the tire on. So now we got the tire on, we're going to get the lugs started. Let's get those in place. This is where our screw gun works well, our torque gun. All right, now that we have our lugs run down, last thing we want to do, freewheel, we want to drop the trailer down, and then we want to put on our torque wrench. We want to torque the lugs down to 90 pounds. Last thing I'm going to do is take my 13/16 thin wall socket, attach it to my torque wrench, and I'm going to set it to 90 foot-pounds. And we're going to torque the lugs last. All right, that's all there is to it. Now we just completed one side. Stumbled through the first one just because we're kind of learning how to do it. Then we'll go to the other side, we'll complete that one, then we'll take a look at them. Ran into a little snafu here on the driver's side. Can you see this?
Oh, I thought you were looking at the other one.
See how there's nothing in there? You see that,
Yep.
Wendy? Look at that one. Somehow something went wrong and this one has something broke off inside it. So we are not going to be able to get that one out. So in that situation, you're going to want to drill a hole next to it. You could try all day long trying to cut that. It's stainless. It's not going to cut well. So my recommendation, just leave this in here and we're going to put one right next to it and we'll just leave that one right where it's at. So there you go. That's all there is to upgrading your fenders on your hiker trailer. Okay, that took us about 10 to 15 minutes per side. If you would have had a torque gun, it probably would have been a little quicker, that kind of thing. So a couple of things. One, if you drill a small pilot hole first before you drill your bigger hole, you're going to prevent some splintering on the inside. Like I said, most of the time, when we first ran the first side through, there was a little bit of splintering on the inside. We ended up covering that up mainly with the round portion of that bolt head. So it was not a huge deal. Plus, with our mattress against the wall, we're not even going to see that. So that's up to you. One of the other things we ran into is on the second side. As you saw, sometimes in the manufacturing process, they get a bolt or a screw or something that goes in and strips out. So we just drilled another hole next to it. It was not a big deal, no problem. And it's all mounted up. Last thing to do is to try it. All right, give her a try, Wendy.
All right.
Probably put your foot on that wheel. And on the awning, there you go. Hey, no problem. Ta-da! It works, it works. Good job. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys got something out of this. If you're considering doing the hiker trailer fender upgrade, let us know. Any questions on the install process or the kit, all the information we're gonna link down below. Hiker has a great tutorial video walking you through the process. They show about 5-10 minutes per side. I would say it's more of a 10-15 minute per side job, especially when you haven't done it before. It's definitely a DIY project that can be handled easily by anyone with a little bit of mechanical skills. On a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the hardest, 1 being the easiest, I would say this is probably 1 or 2. It's a pretty easy project. It is nice to have a second set of hands for someone on the inside so you can tap the bolt in and be able to get everything started on the outside. So with that, we're gonna try it out. We're gonna let you know over the next few months how this all goes and if we have any issues with it down the road. Thanks for watching. Make sure you guys get out and do a little camping. We'll see you next time.